welcome to tonight's video recap. We hope you enjoy everything that we're bringing to you tonight.
He's one of those horses, there's probably people out there that have got one the same. I know I've got one right now. When they get a little bit tense, they'd rather stop or get a bit spooky and stop and take their time and look at things. Other horses get hot and excited, want to run sideways and go all over the shop. I never know which is better. I think maybe the ones that get a little bit more electric and a little bit more off the ground and want to show off a little bit more, probably sometimes the better competition one. But with confidence, this is beautiful now. Yep, into canter. Wow, super canter. In a young horse, in a 4-year-old class, you want to see a nice natural frame, a forward thought in the canter, and a very true and honest 3-beat rhythm. Just like in the walk, you want to see a genuine 4-beat rhythm with no lateral steps. Well, in the canter, you don't want to see any... Wow, the canter has a very, very super rhythm. So now we'll see a definitely different style of riding here. It'll be a little bit more about the collection, a little bit more about transitions and connection. And you can see how big this mare is. Therese looks like a pimple on a pumpkin. Smooth. Oh God, it's beautiful, isn't it? The articulation of this mare's joints and the way she just keeps those front legs coming up off the floor with the hind legs stepping under is exemplary. Quite a talent. The canter, this horse is looking a little, I've got to say, this unfortunately isn't the most fabulous I've seen. He's had a very big time. He's been up and down from Queensland back to Willinga Park, back to Queensland, back to here in a matter of a few weeks. And he's just looking a little bit tired. And it's been a big morning. He's had a class already this morning. And now he's back in here again. And these more experienced seasoned horses, they don't always lift up for the occasion. You know, they've been here before, they've done it, they're more experienced, they're feeling a little bit weary. So it's not always the quiet and the more tired the horse sometimes isn't of benefit. And this guy's obviously very laid back, super nature, but beautiful canter. Of course, in the 7-year-old, we are looking for a greater degree of collection, and what better way to check out degree of collection than on a working pirouette. And again, super job by Therese. Sure who's enjoying the warm weather here. The German winter. Changes. Line of 4s. Correct. Maybe a little bit quarters to the right. But goodness me, good changes. And a 7-year-old horse not quite doing Prix St George yet. Series of 4s is, with a different rider on, is a very good way of looking towards the future. So welcome to, firstly, Francois Kasselmann from P.S.I, CFO of P.S.I, and for your fantastic continued sponsorship. 21 years is pretty amazing. And to our guest writer, Therese Nilshagen from Sweden, Germany, and congratulations on a fantastic job. Firstly, Francois, thanks for the sponsorship, and I've been here probably for 21 years as well. The development in the sport and the young horse sport has got a lot to do within the very beginning with P.S.I, seeing the development of the sport in dressage in Australia and producing horses for our country to bring over here.
That's also our mainness of our sponsorship. We want to create countries and develop countries, and I think Australia has developed a lot, and I think, but it's still a big future ahead.
Absolutely, and with the amazing ability for P.S.I to find horses and to produce horses at such high levels of competition, from all the way from young horses through to Grand Prix, and making them available for people to try and ride and to buy, to create a great sport around the world is fantastic, and it's a great centre if anyone's looking to buy a horse. You've just got to go to P.S.I, it's exceptional. And the selling of a horse is still a very strong possibility in Germany. There's a huge number of horses and great competition horses, and quite affordable at all ranges.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we producing in the group of Kasselmann and Schockemüller, nearly 350 horses in each age group. So we have in all qualities horses available.
So make certain you catch up with them. They're the friendliest guys, all the Kasselmann family, everyone at P.S.I. It's like a great big family, and I've been there quite a few times, and they certainly make you feel totally welcome, and I really appreciate it. And from everyone in Australia that's bought horses, that looks to buying horses into the sport, for your sponsorship and generosity. I know that we're a small country compared to some of them, but we're certainly very keen and passionate about it, and thanks to you we can continue that way.
Thank you.
And how was your ride? Or your rides?
The rides, it was very nice. It was a very good experience, and I think the future looks bright here in Australia. Good horses.
You enjoyed the champion. What set the championess apart from the others for you?
I mean they were the best horses today, and I think that all of the four have a lot of qualities, and they have good possibilities. And I guess Australia, they also want to go to the Olympic Games, and we see perhaps one or two of those horses can make it.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. I know we've seen Doris Day, for instance, as a 4-year-old. She came here and she had no trot, really. She just had a very short trot. And with development and more cadence and ability, she's really starting to trot really well now. The Big Bay horse, it gave you a good feeling. The mare, the one that won, it had a good feeling for you to ride?
Yes, really. Like you said, a very big mare, and but the trot, walk, canter, and really nice, and very well educated from bred. So yeah.
So sometimes people get a bit confused about the little bit of tension, but for Grand Prix, do you think that we need horses that are a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more hot nowadays, or do you want the ones that are really super quiet?
No, actually for me, and I think for the most of the riders riding Grand Prix, we're looking for the special energy in a horse. So I prefer that a horse has a little bit too much energy than too less.
I guess it's like when you look at the Olympics, you've got to do the Grand Prix and the special and then the freestyle. So it's not just one test. You need a horse that has stamina. And those horses, one of them, I think the chestnut horse, he's done a lot of travelling in the last few months, and he was a little bit over it today and a little bit quiet. He's normally a little bit more electric, and I think you've probably felt that on the chestnut horse. And so for the big competitions where there's, like you would know with Dante Weltino, with those other horses, they need that staying power and that stamina to work.
Yes, absolutely. I guess, like you say, the chestnut one traveling a lot, and he has big gaits, and big gaits, it's tougher for him, this work. He will get tired quicker than the other horses. But I mean, he can go to Grand Prix if he gets very good education, and when he gets very strong behind, everything is possible.
Yeah, and I guess the difference is Jaden's here, and his legs are like so much longer than yours. It does make a difference.
Of course, yes.
And just have a couple of minutes to do that, it's not so easy.
No, and I mean, I cannot go on and try to change the world. I just have to go on and go with the flow and just change a bit. I want also those horses to have a good experience with me. But it was fun.
Thank you very much for your time. I know you're hot and you want to go back and have a drink, and we look forward to hearing a little bit from you in the Grand Prix Freestyle tonight. And Francois, thank you so much. Really, Australia thanks you, and P.S.I. Thank you. Thank you, Therese.
I think this four, from what I understand previous years, it's been quite hard to win as a four, as I understand it, or as I've been told, because, I mean, you can't feel so much of the rideability. You know, there's just a year underdone from the 5-year-old and so on in the amount of time a rider's been able to put into it. Also, they're not as strong in their body, so maybe not as balanced to ride, but that's why I said this dressage background is probably the thing that's going to give this 4-year-old the edge, I think. It looks it's just got an easy canter, looks really nice to sit on, and it also looks extremely well educated, whether that's from both Phil and the previous.
Good on you, Jamie.
Previous one. Well done. It looks extremely rideable, especially for a 4-year-old. So I think it looks very calm in like the atmosphere in here with the indoor and the lights and everything to look at. It's still staying very focused on the fence as he's jumping, so that's a really good feeling that it's not, overawed by everything else. It's staying extremely focused on what it should be.
It's really.
I think Kermo would like to take this one home.
Seamus, you guys bred this horse. Wildcard, he's a 16-3 Warblood stallion. He's out of Cannon by Wild Oats. And the
Out of Wild Oats.
Man is Contango 2. Tell us a little bit about the sire and the dam of this horse.
Obviously, the sire Cannon is very well known. He bred the winner of gold medal. We actually bred to Cannon before London.
So he's saying inside this arena, being the first time they've been into an indoor.
This is quite different. We see a great variation in type. This is quite a different type. Not a little bit. The neck is a bit back at the rider a little bit and a little bit flatter in the back. But they come in so many shapes and sizes, huh?
Being by Lord P.S.I, it looks a lot like a lot of the Lord P.S.I horses that we saw in Europe. Really, it's not short in the neck. Like it has a good length it has a long neck, but it comes back at you, so it looks like a short neck. And you can see they've got the rings really short.
And
so when it stays tight in the neck, but it doesn't mean it still jumps very good through the body and finishes behind. It just doesn't need to use it. For its type, it doesn't need to use its neck so much.
I've been riding her for the last, on and off the last.
Whoa, she even jumps rails on the ground at her age.
I normally ride the bigger, slower stallions. This one's a chestnut mare for a lot of blood, and she's got a really powerful jump, and I'm quite enjoying it.
I hope she doesn't make a liar out of me, but I dare say he's going to on a little parachute if they can. There you go.
She jumps big, huh?
Yeah, I wrote when Kermo went overseas. I wrote a little bit at home, and I did we had David Dobson come over for a clinic, and he set up these 3 verticals with poles. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And but it was probably the most fun I've ever had on a horse. You just point, don't kick, just point, and she just lets rip.
She loves it.
And so careful.
She still jumps the rail like it's a metre. Jamie gets on well?
Yep.
Oh, it does jump. It's so quick off the floor, huh? Sharp with its front legs.
Probably the most athletic most athletic horse through the body I think you'd ever sit on.
Has it had a rail down?
Not at this show, no.
Here's the champion of champions.
Overall winner and just announced champion of champions for 2019. It is Theo and Jamie from our 7-year-old class.
I'll just hand the microphone over quickly now to Kermo to just say a quick few thank yous.
Yeah, just firstly, thank you to Bronny and Marchie and all the organisers again for putting on this great show for us, and the whole dressage and jumping with the stars for having us. The jumping a part of the show here is fantastic. It's great to see the 2 disciplines here, and to the judges, Rory and Becky, for coming and judging, especially Peppy for coming all the way over from Germany and riding these horses and doing such a great job. It was great to see. All the sponsors that put on the show, thanks very much, and to all our own sponsors and our team. Thanks to everybody.
Now the two tempi changes. Of course, if we see a bit of a curving line, it increases the degree of difficulty. Oops, what a shame. And when you do a degree of difficulty and then make a mistake, it doesn't help the marks at all.
No. You have to make everything very clear and correct.
Very clear and correct is absolutely, like I say, it's important that the judges never get the chance to get confused to what you're doing.
Yes, that's always bad if they don't really know what they're seeing.
Exactly. Now another pirouette. I think if you're looking at canter pirouettes, Therese, I think it's important to see that the forehand really comes uphill and comes really off the ground, and the horse looks like the quarters are really lowered and the hocks are close to the ground. That was quite a nice pirouette, but there could have been a lot more sitting.
Yes, of course, yes. But it was correct, so I think anyway she'll get probably a 7 or something for sure.
Yeah.
But like for the really high mark, we need some more sitting and more self-carriage of the neck.
Yes.
It's a little bit too deep.
He's not as good as he was so far at Willinga Park, but stallions can get. I know I've seen this horse get very excited in this arena, and Dirk's doing a great job to keep a lid on the stallion at the moment. So what's fascinating is his choice of music is one piece of music from the beginning to the end. And of course, we always look for the fluency in the half passes and the continuity of the rhythm in the collection. So it's important that you always take note of that. It certainly has a lot of movement.
So they were clear, but a little bit flat for a good mark, for a really good mark. Oh, but the spirit, good.
Yeah.
Yes, good rhythm. Come on, keep going. Yeah, good.
Good pirouette, huh? The harmony, they do look like a bit of a team though, but I think maybe sometimes when you try a little hard, it doesn't work so well.
No, this is the thing. You have to see how much risk can I take and how much can I dare to try for a higher marker. Sometimes it can be better to go for a 7, but of course you want the 9, so then you have to try harder.
Nice pirouettes.
Yes, that's the thing that they do very good.
And really fluent from the pirouette to the extended canter. It was a really nice transition.
Yes.
Listening to your masterclass, transitions are very important.
It's very, very important, yes. Good that you noticed.
I did notice a lot. Any rider that's worth their salt in riding dressage makes many, many transitions.
Yes. But now we cross our fingers for the last part of the test.
Again, in the canter half pass, it's important to see always that the horse sits and takes the weight on the hind legs, and if the hind legs get very high and the front legs not so high, it's a bit of a sign. The left one, I think, is better than the right.
Yes, exactly. And no, it's so important that they are on the hind legs, because otherwise...
Some marks for John Lane. The passage is good, huh? This was not so free, huh?
Now we're talking passage. That's good.
Now we're talking passage, exactly. Better piaffe? and into halt.
Good end. The last line was very good.
It's important to end well, isn't it? Because the judges remember the end.
Yes, exactly.
Because it's fresh in their mind.
Thank you for watching tonight's video recap with Equestrian Life. We'll see you next time.